following breaking news
Hey
from
guys, today
Paramount
we're
right
going to be
now.
watching
A reckless pursuit.
Los Angeles Police
Ileana
Chase,
Marino
February
overhead
24th,
right now. News jump from
2022.
4
Let's get into
Alpha.
it now.
Ileana, what do you know about this?
We know that this is the LA County Sheriff's Department that is in pursuit of this car, and it's been a dangerous
Let's
pursuit
get
on
into
surface
it now.
streets in the Paramount area. But
So we are following a chase right now.
We originally picked it up on the eastbound 105 freeway.
They just picked up the chase on 105 freeway.
And has been on
Chase
surface
started
streets
about
ever since. Now, this pursuit has been so dangerous that you're not going to see any units directly behind them
Chase
because
started
it's
about
essentially in what's called the tracking mode. So airship only on this one. Unclear what the original lot was, but we know that there were 3 people inside because we saw 2 of the passengers bail from the car.
Yeah, this chase started about 15-20 minutes ago.
And the speeds are incredibly fast here. I mean, you can
are
just see this
incredibly
driver whizzing
fast,
by the other cars here.
and they seen the driver wheezing by vehicles.
Yeah, this is Rosecrans.
This is Rosecrans, eastbound Rosecrans Avenue.
We're entering Compton, actually. So we're
entering Compton
now. And again, you're not going to see any units behind the car.
There is no units behind that vehicle.
Again, don't know what the original want was, but we know there were 3 people on board. And
we do not know what the original want was. Every time he's hitting the brakes, that's a tail light.
That pedestrian there as he makes that northbound turn now.
You know, we seem to have lost her picture there, but, and there she is, she's back again. Give us an idea, you're on Atlantic right now, it's hard to tell.
That's correct, Colleen. We're on Atlantic, which is a major thoroughfare here in the area. We were just a moment ago in Compton, but now we're in Linwood, and he's coming up to a red light, so we'll see what he does here. And it just switched on him, actually.
Every time he's hitting the brakes, the tail light is on.
Right through it. Or if he doesn't want to run through it, he'll just make a right turn instead. But you can see that this car has suffered some body damage.
This car suffered some body damage.
You can see that the bumper is missing. We saw sparks flying.
The bumper is missing. We saw sparks flying.
When the car got some air and had a hard landing. So overall, it's just been dangerous.
We saw sparks flying a few minutes ago.
These are surface streets, folks.
When the car over there, almost 100 miles an hour. These are the surface streets. 2 passengers bailing out.
What you were referencing, Ileana, where we saw some of the folks jumping out of the vehicle.
They might have abandoned 2 passengers. At least they're not taken into custody.
And running through a stop sign.
Oh my goodness, that is a front bump.
Public safety whatsoever.
Okay, that is a front bumper. You just hit it. Now it has some damage. We're not sure what the car is. The model of year. That is a 2000 Lexus GS300. Okay, that is a 2000 Lexus GS300. So
he's just making the turn here onto Imperial Highway from Atlantic.
He's turning right onto Imperial Highway, eastbound Imperial Highway from Atlantic.
On both sides, lots of businesses. But where he abandoned, or rather where his passengers abandoned him, that was a residential area.
Turning right
and it looks like now he may be hopping on the freeway. So if he does,
hopping on the freeway,
on the southbound 710 freeway from
getting onto southbound 710, southbound 710 freeway.
When he was on the freeway earlier, he was on the 105. So now on the 710
He was on the 105.
Yeah, and the speeds that this driver was taking on city streets
so let's
was
listen
just
now.
out of control.
Let's listen now.
Now look at this, 95. Yeah, he didn't slow down on the freeway at all. Ileana, you mentioned they're kind of in a tracking mode, so there are no vehicles or black and whites behind him. But clearly, he knows he's being tracked because we can see the light from the helicopter.
Yeah, he can see the light from the helicopter, and I'll just backtrack a little bit. I will say that at some point there were units behind him. When we originally got overhead, there were units of the Sheriff's Department behind the car when he was on the eastbound 105 freeway. But once he exited off of Bellflower and he got onto those surface streets, that's when it just became too dangerous to continue to follow him from behind. So that is when the units pulled off and the airship stayed over it. But, you know, he can clearly, as you mentioned, he can clearly see the night sun. So sometimes what the airship will do in these types of situations is they'll just turn the night sun off. And then hopefully the guy or gal behind the wheel will think that they are no longer being pursued and they'll start to drive at more normal speeds. But for now, still continuing. Look at these speeds. Over 100 miles an hour here on the southbound 710 freeway.
Gosh, and you're just so concerned for those who are on the road right now and totally unsuspecting of this because these speeds are really out of control.
Yeah, so incredibly dangerous. But the good news is that because he is on the freeway, he's not going to have any cross traffic and no pedestrians, and he's not going to be running any red lights, obviously, but he may actually be exiting now. So all those things I just mentioned may come back into play here as he exits from the 710 freeway onto Alondra in the Compton area.
And that's a major thoroughfare. Is he doing a U-turn here? Yes.
Yeah, so he's doing a U-turn there. And now he's going eastbound Alondra from the off-ramp here, going over the 710 freeway. And it looks like he's going to stick to streets here. So he had a chance to get back on the freeway there if he wanted to. I thought that's maybe why he was...
Yeah,
Paramount area.
She's back. Eliana, we lost you for just a flash there, but he's still on city streets and still traveling well over 80, 90, even into 100-mile-an-hour range.
Yeah, still about 90 to 100 miles an hour plus. Continuing here, Alondra Boulevard, still in the Paramount area. So for the most part, this pursuit has been in Paramount and in Bellflower. But most of the time that I've looked down, it seems like it's been in Paramount, though he did creep into Compton and Linwood for just a second before hopping onto the 710 freeway and making his way back to Paramount.
Now, if he continues the way he's going, he will move into a residential area. You mentioned earlier there is some body damage. It looks like he's missing a fender there. We don't know what the want is, but do we know how the car was damaged at all?
We didn't see him collide with anything, even though there were a couple of close calls, but we never saw him actually crash into anything. So this could have been a situation where he already had the damage or it happened prior to us arriving overhead. But you can actually see that he's down to just one headlight. So right. Even the front bumper has some damage.
And it looks like the taillights aren't really operational. We just saw some sparks fly there as he went over probably a speed bump or something there in the road.
Yeah, it looks like he's just down to one headlight. And then, as you said, the rear lights aren't that great either. In fact, when he was on the 105 freeway earlier when we arrived overhead, he was completely blacked out, which made it really difficult to see. But now that he's on surface streets, at least he's got the headlights. And, of course, when he brakes, you can see the taillights. And we'll see what happens here as he comes up to the next light here. Barely misses hitting that car as he runs the red here on Alondra Boulevard in Paramount.
Ileana, do we have any idea if the two passengers who were in the car have been picked up by law enforcement yet?
So at this point, it's unclear if they're in custody, but I'll tell you that as soon as they exited the vehicle, the airship called out their exact location, and there were units close enough to come to the area and hopefully take them into custody. But at this point, I can't confirm whether they were taken into custody or not. Even if they were not willful participants of this pursuit, they will still be taken into custody as if they were. And then, of course, once they go down to the station and officers have time to interrogate everyone about what happened, then they will release them if they had nothing to do with this. But for now, the focus here from the Sheriff's Department is going to be on the individual behind the wheel. Again, at this point, we don't know if it's a man or a woman, but the two passengers that exited the car were men.
And we don't know if perhaps there could still be yet another passenger in this vehicle, do we?
There very well could be an additional passenger or two. This type of car is going to fit at least 5 people. We saw 2 exit. We know there's one behind the wheel, so there possibly could be up to 2 more.
You know, Ileana, while you're covering this from the air, our assignment desk is making calls as well. And all we're learning so far with all the calls we've made is that this is a felony stop. They're not saying anything else. We do know it has been through Compton and Linwood, but could you remind us and our viewers how this started when you picked it up?
Yeah, we actually were on another pursuit. We were covering another chase on the 710 freeway that exited in Monterey Park near the sheriff's headquarters there at the 710 and the 10. So we were covering that pursuit, and then it was after that pursuit that my pilot, Jim Pollard, actually spotted some vehicles running with their lights and sirens on the 105 freeway. We came to check it out, and then that's when we learned that it was, in fact, the Sheriff's Department pursuit. And it wasn't on the freeway, though, for long before he exited located on Bellflower Boulevard, and it's been on surface streets for the most part until he got on the 710, but making a U-turn here on Downey with across the flower, and there are the units. So those are the units that we were waiting to arrive on scene, and now they're going to get behind the car. Now, if they get behind the car, it's because they realize that the tracking mode is not working. Usually they will go into tracking mode to get the driver to slow down, but in this case, we've seen that clearly he's not slowing down for anyone or anything. So they've got really nothing to lose by getting behind him now, but he's entering the freeway, so that does change things a little bit, because then that means that the California Highway Patrol could take over the pursuit now.
And for the most part, he almost looked like he was circling a particular area, the Paramount area.
And it did seem he was slowing down a bit, just then.
Almost looking for a place to
he seemed to be taking a little bit more caution when he was making those turns. And then here we go again. We're back over 100 miles an hour now on the freeway.
Yeah, it almost, I got that same feeling as well, that he was perhaps looking for a place to abandon the vehicle and take off running and just kind of bring things to an end. But once he saw those units, when he did that U-turn, I think it might have changed something in his mind, and he decided we were eastbound on the 91 freeway in the Long Beach area. So essentially, we are east of the 110 and west of the 710 along the 91 freeway.
So they're on, he is on westbound 91 freeway,
He's the one that, they're not
and he's the one
everyone
outrageously,
else's freeway speeds. He's the one that's just outrageously,
proximity to the
that proximity.
There are a lot of trucks out there this hour of the night as well. So he is headed, westbound? Eastbound.
Yes, so he's going eastbound, rather.
Eastbound, okay.
I'm sorry, let me look out the window real quick. Okay, he's
He is
going
passing
westbound.
vehicles.
Sometimes I get turned around when I'm just looking down all the time.
Slower vehicles,
I'm actually just looking up ahead, and I can see towards LAX, so he is going westbound here on the 91 freeway.
He is on westbound 91 freeway.
Are there any units in pursuit now, or have they pulled back again?
And there is no units behind.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any units, at least no units with their lights on. So at this point, if there are any units, they're trailing behind with their lights off, so that
their
again,
lights
this
on or
person
off.
thinks that he or
So
she is
we're
no
gonna
longer being pursued,
show that
and
to the audience.
Slow
audience,
down just a little bit.
pay
But I'll
close
tell you,
attention.
because we're on the freeway,
That is
it
a
just makes sense to
makeup
get CHP involved, so I can guarantee you that those
model
calls are
year,
being
so we
made
can guarantee you
to get
that
the
is a
California Highway
2000
Patrol
Lexus
to come out
GS300,
here and follow
and that
this
is a vehicle
since he is
that
on the freeway,
they're
and of course the
following now.
CHP is going to be the police
They've
of our
been following
freeways
this
here in
vehicle
California, so
for
they're going to be best
the past
equipped to follow this pursuit if he continues on the freeway.
We can tell you at these speeds there is
They've been
no
following this
way
vehicle
they
for the
would
past
attempt
hour
a pit
or
maneuver.
so.
But Ileana, when he was on
past
the
10, 15
surface
minutes
streets
or
at
so,
all and slowed down
and right
some,
after
was there any mention of a spike strip at all?
continues.
They actually haven't talked about it at
going
all,
on
and
for
I
the
think it's
past
just
40
because he
minutes
has
or
no
so
rhyme or
since
reason
the
to
chase
his
started.
driving. Even though he
For the
stayed in
past
Paramount for a
hour,
while,
for the past
he was never
40
just
minutes or
circling
so
the same
since the
streets,
police
and
started
so
this
for that
chase.
reason it made it difficult to
And
figure
as
out where
well,
he was going to go and where they could
they're into
possibly
40
place a
minutes
spike
into the
strip where
chase
he would
now,
run it over.
and they're
And as you
into
mentioned,
30
the maneuver
minutes
at these
into the
speeds,
chase
just not going to
now.
happen. But fortunately, it's a
And
smaller
for the
car, so
past, we're
were
going
he
on
to
for
slow
the
down his
past
speeds,
35
then they
minutes
could
or
possibly
so,
try it. But at this
right
point,
after
just
the
at the
chase
speed that
started.
he's going at, they just
And
can't.
it's been going on
And the other
for
thing we got to
just a
take into
long while,
account
for the past
is
5
he
to 10
armed?
minutes or
At
so.
this point, we don't know what the original want was, other than that it was a failure to yield.
5 or 10
So
minutes or so.
if the officers know a little bit more about
Right after
the
the chase
original want
started.
than we do,
Nearly an hour
if they
ago.
perhaps know that he is armed, then
For the
that
past
could really
5
affect
minutes
whether or
or
not they do.
so, 10 minutes or
If the
so.
officers know a little bit more about
10
the
minutes
original
or
want
so,
than we do,
5 minutes
if they
or so
perhaps know that
since
he
the
is
chase
armed,
started.
then that could really affect whether or
That
not they
could
do
really
a pit
affect
that he had a lot of
whether if
open
they
road,
put a hit maneuver
by him
or
for the
spike
stretch here,
or do a
because
roadblock.
a short while back, Eliana, we saw him just
or box the
whizzing
car
past a
in,
motorcycle and
because
several other
those
cars,
speeds
again, just going so much faster
are
than the
really
rest
out
of
of
the freeway
control.
traffic.
That speedometer
Yeah, it's still
going so
very
fast.
You see the speeds
And if the
there,
car loses
about,
control,
almost 90
at least the
miles an
car
hour
didn't lose
here,
control.
and he's still
at least
westbound
the
on
car
the 91 freeway,
didn't go
so
out
he's
of
going to be
control
coming
and
up to
didn't
the
lose
10 freeway.
control.
I'm sorry, the 110 freeway, rather, the Harbor freeway.
Yeah, at least the car
So
didn't
at that
lose
point,
control.
essentially, the
He is
91
regaining
comes to an
control,
end.
90 miles an hour,
it just
100
becomes
miles
a
an hour,
surface street at that
hitting hitting the brakes every single time.
Or he could transition to either the northbound 110 or southbound 110.
Or he could either
transition
the northbound 110 or southbound 110.
The 710 or the 91.
Or 105 or the 405 or the 710 or the 5 freeway.
The driver believed to be a felony vandalism
He is a
suspect
felony
from the
vandalism
Bellflower
suspect.
area. So just a tad bit more information as to perhaps what brought all of this to a start.
And as pursuits go, this is one of the top most dangerous we've covered. I mean, when you consider the speeds that he's been doing on surface streets, he's actually slowed down to
He is slowing
90
down.
miles an hour at this
There's
point.
no smoke.
Ileana,
Hitting the brakes.
Where is he going at this point? Is he getting off the freeway or transitioning to the 110?
He is
It looks like he is
transitioning.
transitioning to the 110, and I'll tell you here as he completes the transition, if he's going
he is
north or
transitioning
south. At this
to
point, it
110.
appears that he's going to be going
And he's
northbound on
making
the
a transition.
110 from
He is
the 91
transitioning
freeway.
With
to
several
110
units now
freeway.
behind him.
Transitioning to
So we can
northbound
see,
110 freeway.
Are those CHP units?
From Harbor
Yeah, so
Gateway,
here are the
Los
units
Angeles.
coming in, and here's the CHP units. So yeah, so here are the units coming in,
Units.
and
Lights and
here's
sirens
the
are
CHP
on.
unit. So the one with its lights on is CHP.
He's
the ones
doing
that
everything he
aren't
can
lit
to
up
get
with
away,
it,
but
the
that's not
California
gonna
Highway
happen.
Patrol is going to be taking over it. So you'll see that unit with the light bar
You'll see
approach
that
the vehicle.
unit with the
You'll
light
see that
bar.
unit with the light bar approach the vehicle here in the next
Approach
minute
the
or so. And I am
vehicle for
hearing
the
that the
next
CHP is
minute
asking
or
for
two or
permission to join
so.
the pursuit. So we should.
So the
on this
CHP
freeway
had
at this
joined
point,
in.
he's got what,
They
the
arrived on the
105
scene
and the 405
an hour
coming up.
ago.
Yeah, so the 405 was just behind us.
The 405
he
was
missed his
just
chance
behind
to get
him.
on that.
He missed
but
it. He missed
as you mentioned, he
his
could get on the
chance
105.
to
So
get
we've seen him
onto
on the
that.
105 before, and he seemed to be really familiar with that
He seemed to be
Bellflower
really
Paramount
familiar.
area. So I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up the 105
I wouldn't
from
be surprised.
here. Beyond that, he would essentially be stuck on the 110 because his next chance to transition to any other freeway would be the 10, and that doesn't come up until we get to just
He's
south
on
of downtown.
110 freeway,
He's
northbound
so
110
difficult
freeway,
to see
the
with that
express
single
lane.
headlight. I mean, if it weren't for the night sun, he'd be
He's on the
more
carpool
dangerous.
lane.
How is it for drivers on the freeway right now? Does that night sun sort of light up their path as well?
Yeah, it definitely does light up their path and gives them at least some sort of indication that something's going on. Because the only unit that we saw with its lights on was that
Only
one unit
unit
of the
we only
CHP.
saw with the lights
so if
on.
you're not looking for that, you may not realize
That is a
that this is
vehicle.
a pursuit. But
High rate of
unfortunately,
speed,
because
going
of
at a
that
high
night
rate of
sun,
speed,
it's
doing anything
nice
he
and
can to
bright
get away.
for the
No,
other drivers
well,
on
that's
the
not
road
gonna
would be
happen.
able to see it. And ideally, what you want to do in those types of situations when you see a pursuit coming your way is if you can safely do so, move over to the right. But as you see, if you look towards that right lane, we've got some construction coming
move
up, which
over
means we're
to
going
the
to have
left.
construction workers.
move over
that always
to
makes
the
for
left.
such a dangerous situation.
And
So
when there's
in this
a
case,
right
I'm hoping
lane,
he
they're doing a
stays in the left
construction.
lane.
I
And
don't
he's
know
going
what time to do.
continuing
They're gonna
northbound
do
here on the
the
110 freeway.
construction.
And those lanes that you're
Yeah, at
seeing up
midnight,
above, those
when
are
there's
the
a right
fast
lane,
track lanes.
when you know that
And those
fast
lanes
track
that you're
lanes.
seeing up above, those are the fast track lanes.
Right.
So they may obstruct our vision here for just a moment, but going northbound 110 freeway.
That the want on this is felony vandalism. And Ileana, would that lead you to believe, obviously this is not a stolen car, that they know
Obviously.
who's behind the wheel here?
That is not
Yeah,
a
exactly.
stolen.
Because they know what the
Obviously,
want is, that leads us to believe
it's not a
that they
stolen
know
car.
exactly who's
Yep,
behind the
that's
wheel,
not a stolen
which means
car.
that they were able to run the
And thank
license plate
goodness
and
it
it
is
would come
not
back to the
that is
registered owner,
not a
likely the
stolen
person that they were
vehicle.
looking for in connection with that felony
that
vandalism
that
case
vehicle
out of Bellflower.
that
Now, we don't
vehicle
have any of the
belongs
exact
to the
details of
suspect.
that
That is
specific
not a
vandalism
stolen
case,
car.
but
That
I
is
can
a
tell you that it was
felony
the Sheriff's
vandalism.
Department that initially tried to
We
pull
know
this
that
person
is
over,
not a stolen
but they
car.
failed to yield
Thank
and the
goodness
pursuit was
it's not
on,
a
and boy,
stolen
was it
car.
on.
That is a
Over pull this
model
person
year
over,
2000 Lexus
but they
GS
failed to
300.
yield and the pursuit was on, and boy, was it on.
When he failed to
over
yield,
110
he was
miles
over
an hour
100
on the freeway,
miles and
at some point, when he got into the wheel,
110.
the two male
Yeah, he was on
passengers
he was
got out,
on
and the pursuit
100. He was
continued.
on
The
a
windows
90
are so
mile an
dark
hour.
on this vehicle,
He was
too. We really can't
at
tell if there might be
110 miles
another
an hour,
passenger or two left
and
in this
then
vehicle in addition to the
116 miles
driver.
an hour.
Yeah, real
The
difficult to
speeds
tell,
are
but it
really
looks like the driver
fast.
may actually be on his or
Sparks
her
are
phone.
flying,
So if you
you
look
can
right in
see
the
that,
driver's window, you can
because
actually
of that
see the
brake
light of what
pads
appears to
or
be a
the
cell
oil
phone.
line
So perhaps
cuts.
Yeah, real difficult to tell, but it looks like the driver may actually be on his or her phone. So if you look right in the driver's window, you can actually see the light of what appears to be a cell phone.
Texting with his buddies.
I see sparks coming from under the vehicle. If you look just under the
because of
front
that brake pads,
tire there, you can see those sparks. So this car is really
completely
burned
out.
We don't know if it happened during the course of the pursuit.
It happened during the
overhead, but clearly this car is going to have issues
during the
as this
course of the
continues.
pursuit.
The danger of this at this point, if you look, he's doing almost 120 miles an hour. If he's got sparks, which means he might be on his rim or very close to it, he could lose control.
He can lose control.
It really could, and that would just make for such a dangerous situation for his fellow drivers here on the northbound side of the 110 freeway. So we really hope it doesn't come to anything like that where he endangers the lives of other people. But it looks like he's actually getting in the carpool lane. So that's why you see him on the elevated portion, fast track lanes.
Freezing as well.
And still northbound 110 coming up to
there you go.
52nd
Back on
place.
now. Loading. It's a bit loading.
Would be the street.
Okay, he is in the fast track lane.
And there's one unit of the CHP, 2, 3. Let's see how many more behind that. I'm seeing 4 units total. So 4 units total of the California Highway Patrol behind this driver, in addition to the LA County Sheriff airship overhead.
Well, it's kind of a relief that he did go on into the carpool lanes here, because we can see below just how crowded the freeway has become in this area of Southeast LA. How crowded the freeway has become in this area of Southeast LA.
So he's at MLK Boulevard now, so just to give people a landmark, he's not that far from downtown LA, correct?
MLK Boulevard.
Yeah, correct. We're passing the Coliseum, USC, as you mentioned, and downtown LA is going to be coming up here in the next couple minutes, especially at the speeds he's traveling at. It's going to come up real fast.
Real fast.
So the next freeway that he's going to come up to will be the 10 freeway. It'll give him a chance to go east or west from there if he wants to, or proceed northbound on the 110. Of course, he could always exit. That's going to put him into the heart of downtown. So all of those numbered streets is where he would end up. So ideally, hopefully, he stays on the freeway just to lessen that danger level when it comes to pedestrians and red lights and things of that nature that you would encounter on surface streets.
Eliana, we saw a CHP unit off to the right-hand side there going quite a bit slower than the vehicles in pursuit. Was that perhaps another one just coming on and joining this pursuit, or what do you speculate that might have been about?
Yeah, it could have been someone joining the pursuit, or it could be somebody who was going to hang back a little bit to run a traffic break, perhaps. Or sometimes they do. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of smoke coming from the car there. I think you might have just been hard on the brakes there. But sometimes officers will do something that's called. Whoa, there you go.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow.
You just saw that hood.
Dangerous before.
Dangerous.
This is dangerous now.
Nothing.
Barely going to be able to see it at the speeds that he's traveling at.
So dangerous.
Oh, boy, this makes it
he's
so
still doing
dangerous.
almost 50 miles an hour.
Doing almost 50 miles an hour. Oh my goodness. That is so scary.
You see this hood up like that.
That is so scary. I have never seen that before.
You see the sparks, and he's coming up.
That is so dangerous. Passing under the
Metro bus is
LA
right
Metro
ahead,
bus.
but we're going to lose him there for just a second. But
And
here he comes up out the other side.
He's going to get onto
like
10
he's
freeway.
transitioning to the 10 free from the 110.
Boy, is this? I mean, you got to think that now they might be wanting to just try to pit him here.
Yeah, it looks like they're almost moving in a position to I don't know, flank him on either side there. And keep him from getting on the pit him.
He is now he's tossing the keys out of He is tossing the keys out of the window.
Him on either side
there you go.
And keep him
Throwing
from
the
getting
keys
on
out of
the
the
freeway.
window.
Officers there with
They have
their
their
guns
hands
drawn.
up.
I see the driver's hand, so I'm going to go ahead and
if
stay
they'll come
tight.
to you.
And he's now down on the ground. And there's another person. Look at that. There was, in fact, another person in the vehicle. So in total, that means that there would have been 4 people inside of the vehicle.
I have never seen that before.
In the direction of the officers. They're still giving him directions and handcuffing him. That was interesting, that's for sure. And here directions and handcuffing him. That was interesting, that's for sure. And here you see those officers there at the top of the screen. They have their guns pointed at the passenger. They'll really try to slow. And now that the driver is in custody, they will slowly make those commands to the passenger and take that person into custody as well.
I've got to tell you, as many chasing out like that and crawl on his belly across the freeway, I mean, I can't imagine what was going through the CHP officers' minds when they saw that. That almost seemed aggressive.
I can guarantee you that's not what they asked him to do. That's for sure. They would never ask him to approach in that manner, but that's what he decided to do, and it got him into custody, and nobody's hurt, so that's the good news.
They got him in
custody. Now approaching
no
the
one
car.
is
They just
hurt.
want to clear it.
No one is inside the vehicle. At least 2 passengers. At least the 2 passengers
So once they do,
were
they will
abandoned by
pop the trunk
2
open and make
drivers.
sure that nobody is hiding back
At least
there.
the 2
And once
passengers
that's all
are
said and
not in
done, they'll be able to clear
custody.
the freeway again. Ending here,
They're not in custody. But
eastbound
this
10
2
freeway at
passengers,
Maple.
Eliana, thank you for that, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
So anyway, thanks for watching. Check out this video pops up here. And I'll see you guys in the next video later on today. Bye guys.